I poured my savings into the family Lakehouse, only for my mother to declare, "You don't matter," and hand it over to her favorite son. So I reclaimed it with legal help. At my brother's wedding, they shoved me behind the DJ setup. I took back my $3,000 gift, sparking a scandal that unraveled their deceit. My name's Ethan. I thought I'd found a fragile peace with my family. Not love, not warmth, just a cold, quiet truce where I kept my distance, and they stopped pretending to care. But that illusion shattered at my brother's wedding, a day meant for joy, unity, and celebration. Unless you're the family's overlooked shadow, I hadn't planned to attend. I'd been gone for years, having moved cross-country for grad school, choosing not to return every Christmas just to feel like an outsider. But when my younger brother, Liam, sent the invitation, I was surprised. It was formal, impersonal, with just my name, the venue, and the time. No +1, no personal note. I didn't expect much, yet something urged me to go. Maybe guilt, maybe curiosity, or maybe a foolish hope they'd grown past their old ways, no longer punishing me for not being their ideal child growing up. Liam was the golden child. Perfect grades, soccer star, the charming kid who could break a vase and still be praised for his spirit. I was the quiet one, lost in books, asking questions they didn't like, once telling my mom I didn't want to attend church anymore, earning a 3-week grounding. They called me too serious, too sensitive, too distant. When I left for college and didn't look back, they labeled me ungrateful. Still, I got them a gift, not just any gift, but something meaningful. I commissioned a custom-made dining set from a local craftsman near my new home. 6 chairs and a grand oak table with their initials carved in the center. I worked on it for weeks, not to win their approval, but to show I cared in my own way. The wedding ceremony was fine, if a bit dull. An overly polished event perfect for social media but lacking soul. I sat in the back row of the chapel, squeezed between distant cousins who didn't acknowledge me. My mom looked right through me as she walked down the aisle. My dad gave a curt nod, more obligation than warmth. Liam didn't glance my way, not until the reception. The venue was a sprawling vineyard with gleaming wood floors and fairy lights, the hills outside worth more than my apartment. Guests were guided to tables with elegant calligraphy place cards. I waited patiently, hoping someone remembered I existed. When I gave my name, the woman at the check-in desk frowned. "Ethan," she said, scanning her list. "Oh, right. You're over there?" She pointed vaguely toward a narrow gap between the DJ booth and a storage area. At first, I thought she'd made a mistake. Then I saw it. A lone metal folding chair, no table, no place card, tucked behind speakers, inches from a wall and a tangle of cables. I stared, wondering if this was a mix-up. That's when the bride, Sophia, approached. She sized me up like I was dirt on her designer heels. "Good, you found your spot," she said coolly. "We thought it'd be better for you to be near the music since you're not really part of the main crowd." I blinked, stunned. "What?" She flashed a fake smile. "You know, only close family gets a table. You get it right?" I couldn't respond, still processing whether this was a cruel joke. Then my mom appeared, champagne glass in hand, looking like she'd stepped out of a photo shoot. Without missing a beat, she shrugged and said, "It's not like you matter, Ethan." Those words hit harder than I expected. I'd heard versions of them before, but never so raw, never at a wedding with laughter and a lavish cake nearby. I stood frozen, then glanced at the pathetic chair in the corner. My name wasn't on it. No one would care if I sat there or vanished. So I smiled, a calm, deliberate smile that said more than any outburst could. I turned, walked to the gift table at the entrance and spotted my package, a large box wrapped in navy paper with a cream ribbon. I lifted it, muscles tensing as I carried it out. Whispers spread like wildfire. A cousin nudged another. I didn't rush, I walked slowly past the tables where my family sat. My parents turned just as I neared the door. "Ethan," my mom called, "what are you doing?" I didn't stop or speak. Liam noticed me then, mid-conversation, drink in hand, his brow furrowing as he saw the gift, then me. "Hey," he shouted, "what are you?" But the music, a generic wedding tune, cut off abruptly. Silence swept the room like ice. I turned slightly, meeting his eyes. "You're right," I said clearly. "I don't matter. So I'm taking back what I brought." Gasps rippled through the crowd. A few stifled laughs. Chairs scraped as people turned to watch. I didn't linger to see their reactions. I stepped into the cool evening air, the box growing heavier, not from its weight, but from what it symbolized. My mind burned, not with anger or sadness, but with a hollow clarity. I'd spent years chasing their respect, only to realize they'd decided long ago I was insignificant. I reached my car, a modest gray sedan in the gravel lot, and wedged the gift into the back seat. Footsteps crunched behind me. "Ethan," Liam called. I didn't turn. I slid into the driver's seat, fingers hovering over the ignition. "Are you seriously doing this?" he panted. "What's wrong with you?" I looked at him through the window. "You put me behind the DJ booth, Liam." He threw up his hands. "That was Sophia's idea. She said you'd want space." "And you agreed," I said. He stepped closer. "Come on, it's just a seat. Why make it a big deal? You didn't even RSVP." "I did," I said. "I emailed," he scoffed. "That doesn't count." I almost laughed. "Okay." His jaw tightened, eyes flickering as he searched for words to undo the moment. "You didn't even say congrats. You didn't say hi." He flinched, then recovered. "You think you're above us, don't you? Because you left." There it was, the root of it all, the resentment simmering for years, now spilling out in the parking lot while the wedding carried on behind us. "I don't think I'm better," I said softly. "I just think I deserved a seat at a table." He stepped back, my words hitting like a slap. In that moment, I saw him clearly, not the perfect groom, not the golden child, but the brother who needed me to be less so he could shine brighter. "I'm leaving," I said. "Don't worry, I won't ruin anything else." He didn't stop me. He just watched as I started the car and drove off, gravel crunching under my tires. A few guests outside, sipping drinks, glanced my way. One, Sophia's cousin, gave me a curious look. I nodded once and kept driving. I didn't go home. I needed to think. I stopped at a quiet overlook 20 minutes away, parked and sat on the hood, staring at the hills under a darkening sky. The gift sat untouched in the car. My gesture, my naive hope for acceptance. I thought of the years of subtle jabs, holidays where I felt like a stranger in my own home, ignored calls, forgotten birthdays. My mom always called Liam our pride and joy, while I was the other one. Yet I'd shown up. I'd tried. I pulled out my phone and started a group chat with my parents and siblings, unused for months. I typed, "I'm done." Then I turned off the phone. I didn't know what would follow, anger, silence, or denial, but I knew I wouldn't let them break me anymore. I drove home with the windows down, the night air cooling my thoughts. At my apartment, I set the gift box in the living room unopened. For now, knowing it was mine again was enough, but I didn't anticipate the ripple effect. My exit with the gift sparked whispers at the reception, a drunken toast gone wrong, a family argument in the parking lot, and a buried secret exposed. It started with a phone call the next morning, then another. Then something arrived at my door. That's when the real unraveling began. The next morning, my phone buzzed on the floor. I'd left it off, not expecting or wanting messages. Curiosity won, and I turned it on. No flood of notifications, just one missed call from an unknown number and a voicemail. I played it. "Hey, Ethan, it's Chloe, Sophia's cousin. We met briefly, I think. Things got weird after you left. You should know what's happening. Call me." Weird, not dramatic, not explosive, just weird. My heart beat faster, sensing a storm brewing. I didn't call back right away. I made coffee, showered, and tried to shake the unease. By noon, my phone buzzed again. First, my Aunt Laura, one of the few relatives I liked, texted, "Your mom's in damage control. You okay?" Then my cousin Max. "Yo, that you don't matter line you dropped hit hard, man. You lit a fuse." Then unexpectedly, my dad called me. No punctuation, no warmth, my stomach churned. I ignored them all and called Chloe. She answered immediately. "Ethan, thank God, I wasn't sure you'd call." "What happened?" I asked, skipping pleasantries. She sighed. "You're leaving with the gift. People noticed. At first they thought it was a joke, but when you said that line and the music stopped, everyone was stunned. Your mom looked like she'd swallowed glass." I shrugged. "Figures." "But then," Chloe continued, her voice dropping, "Sophia said something about how she'd told you not to expect a seat. Her uncle asked what she meant, and she didn't hold back. She called you the problem sibling, always making things about you, said the wedding wasn't for family drama." My jaw tightened. "And Liam," she went on, tried to laugh it off, but your cousin Sam from Portland stood up and said, "Wow, you guys really screwed Ethan over." And it was like a dam broke. I leaned against the counter, heart racing. "People started talking," Chloe said. "Your Aunt Laura argued with your mom. Apparently your mom told everyone you weren't sure you'd come, so they didn't put you on the seating chart. But someone, your old neighbor, I think, said she saw the RSVP list and your name was confirmed weeks ago." I closed my eyes. "Then someone brought up the Lakehouse," Chloe added. I froze. "What about it?" I asked, voice low. She hesitated. "I don't know everything, but people said it's going to Liam. Like your parents already filed the paperwork. Your mom said you didn't care about the house anyway. Then your Uncle Tom lost it." That hit like a blow. The Lakehouse wasn't just a vacation home. It was where I spent childhood summers, where I learned to fish, where I helped Dad replace shingles one sweltering July. I loved that place. When I moved away, I used scholarship refunds to fund upgrades. A new deck, a renovated basement, my money, my effort. And they were giving it to Liam behind my back. "I thought you knew," Chloe said softly, hearing my silence. "I didn't," I said. "I'm sorry," she replied. "But you've got more support than you think. A lot of us saw what they did. Some of us have seen it for years." I thanked her and hung up, staring at the gift box. I thought of the Lakehouse, my contributions, the memories. They treated me like a ghost, a burden, a mistake. Something snapped. I wasn't angry, I was done. No more playing nice, no more silence, no more giving them the benefit of the doubt. If they wanted me out, I'd show them what that meant, quietly, deliberately. I pulled an old lockbox from my closet, filled with years of documents, receipts, emails, contracts from the Lakehouse renovations. I'd kept them out of habit, knowing my family would erase my contributions without proof. In a folder labeled Lakehouse Upgrades 2017 to 2020, I found receipts for $28,000 in improvements I'd funded, emails with contractors, a handwritten note from my dad thanking me for preserving our legacy, and photos of me installing railings, pouring concrete, staining floors. This wasn't just a house, it was my work, my heart. I made 2 calls. First to Sarah, my lawyer from a past tenant issue. I explained everything, my financial contributions, my dad's note, the secret transfer to Liam. "You've got a strong case," she said. "That note could be key, especially if there was an understanding this was a shared investment." Second, I called a locksmith near the Lakehouse. "Hi," I said calmly. "I need locks changed on a property I've invested in. I've got receipts, documents, everything. Can you do it by Saturday?" He could. Saturday, 9 a.m. I didn't announce my plans, didn't post online or send dramatic texts. I let the silence grow. I ignored my dad's follow-up texts, my mom's guilt-trip voicemail. "You embarrassed your brother over a chair." And Liam's message, starting with, "I didn't know it looked that bad," and ending with a plea for peace. They didn't want peace. They wanted my silence. That Saturday, I drove to the Lakehouse, unseen in nearly 2 years. It was just as I remembered, peaceful, weathered, but mine. The deck I'd built held strong. The steps didn't creak. A rusty screen still hung loose. It was beautiful in its imperfect way. The locksmith met me, reviewed my documents, and nodded. "Looks good," he said. An hour later, new locks gleamed. The house was mine again in one small but real way. I photographed every upgrade I'd funded, every fixture I'd paid for. I even found a 2012 family photo on the mantel, me slightly off-center, like an afterthought. I smiled, tucked it in a drawer, and drove to Sarah's office with the file. "I don't want to ruin them," I told her. "I want what's mine. I want it in writing." She nodded. "We'll file for partial ownership and compensation for improvements. If they try to sell or transfer, we'll block it. They'll have to negotiate." And they did. The family exploded. "Why a lawyer, Ethan? What are you doing? You're ruining your brother's wedding gift over a misunderstanding." I ignored them. It wasn't a misunderstanding, it was a pattern. I returned their gift, wrapped in plain brown paper with a typed note. "You said I don't matter. This is me agreeing." Then I blocked their numbers. Negotiations dragged on. My parents claimed I was dramatic, that I had no claim, that my contributions were just help. But the receipts were clear, the photos time-stamped, my dad's note undeniable. Sarah was relentless, securing me half ownership and a buyout option. $36,500 for my contributions plus interest, or they'd face court. They paid to avoid public shame. That money cleared my student loans. A bitter irony. Liam sent a long, handwritten letter apologizing, claiming he didn't mean for things to go this way, saying he loved me, hoping I'd stay in his life. But one line stood out. "You didn't have to take it this far," as if demanding respect was betrayal. I didn't reply. A friend mentioned Liam and Sophia delayed their honeymoon due to financial strain. I didn't gloat or smile. But for the first time in years, I felt peace. Real peace, not the cold silence I'd once settled for. I'd stood up, drawn a line, and shown them I wouldn't be erased. They used to call me too sensitive. Now I'm just free. Thank you for watching my story. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and press the bell icon. Stay tuned for more real-life stories, get more experiences.